MCQs Part 3. Published by Medium. 1. Q. What is affix? Ans. A bound morpheme such as un or ed added to a word, e.g. undressed. 2. Q. What is derivation? Ans. The process of forming new words by adding affixes, e.g., unhappy, from happy, and misrepresent, from represent. 3. Q. What is deixis? Ans. A deictic expression or deixis is a word or phrase, such as this, that, these, those, now, then, here, that points to the time, place, or situation in which a speaker is speaking. 4. Q. How many main types of deixis are there? Ans. 3. Personal deixis, e.g. personal pronouns. Spatial deixis, e.g. this, that, here, there. Temporal deixis, e.g. now, then, yesterday, tomorrow. 5. Q. What is jargon? Ans. It is special technical vocabulary. 6. Q. What helps to create and maintain relations among those who see themselves as insiders and to exclude outsiders? Ans. Jargon. 7. Q. What is more typically used among those who are outside established higher status groups? Ans. Slang. Linguistics MCQs Part 03. 8. Q. What is co-articulation? Ans. In spoken language, the process of making one sound almost at the same time as the next sound is called co-articulation. 9. Q. What are the two well-known co-articulation effects? Ans. Assimilation and elision. 10. Q. What is assimilation? Ans. The process by which one sound becomes more like a nearby sound, e.g. handbag is pronounced as handbag. 11. Q. What is elision? Ans. Elision is the omission of sounds in speech, e.g. we pronounce the phrase, he must be, as, he muse be. 12. Q. The term used for the study of the relationship between language and society is? Ans. Sociolinguistics. 13. Q. What is pidgin? Ans. A language formed from a mixture of several languages which is used by speakers of different languages who don't know each other's languages. 14. Q. Pidgin is actually? Ans. A contact language which would have no native speakers. 15. Q. What is Creole? Ans. When a pidgin develops beyond its role as a contact language and becomes the first language of a social community, it is called Creole. 16. Q. What is pattern practice? Ans. It is a technique in which students repeat a sentence. They either change words, e.g., verb, or they change a statement to a question, etc. 17. Q. Communicative approaches are a reaction against the artificiality of? Ans. Pattern practice. 18. Q. Grammar translation method makes use of pattern practice? Ans. True. 19. Q. Lists of vocabulary and sets of grammar are focused in? Ans. Grammar translation method. 20. Q. What is syntagmatic relationship? Ans. The words in a sentence form a horizontal relationship that creates meaning. If you change the order of words in a sentence, it can change the meaning, e.g., John ate an octopus becomes, an octopus ate John. This relationship is horizontal. This means that changes take place horizontally. A sentence is horizontal like a row. 21. Q. What is paradigmatic relationship? Ans. In paradigmatic relationship, words of the same class are interchangeable in the same place in a sentence, e.g., John ate an octopus becomes, John ate an apple. Here a noun is replaced by another noun. Paradigmatic relationship is vertical. This means that changes take place in a sentence vertically. Words in a sentence are vertical like columns. Every word in a sentence is kind of a column. 22. Q. A very important reason for regarding English as a world language is that? Ans. World's knowledge is enshrined in English. 23. Q. Who has made a distinction between English as a foreign language and English as a second language? Ans. Albert H. Marquardt. 24. Q. Who did state that English is the means of communication between the East and the West Pakistan? Ans. Ayub Khan. 25. Q. English has been the language of the academics in the subcontinent since? Ans. 19th century. 26. Q. Which languages of the subcontinent were replaced by English with the British conquest? Ans. Arabic, Persian, Sanskrit. 27. Q. A growing number of people are studying linguistics in order to Ans. Describe and document their own languages. 28. Q. Why do linguists feel the need of the description of languages? Ans. Because many of the world's languages are endangered. 29. Q. Linguistics has been applied to a vast range of practical concerns? Ans. True. 30. Q. The role of linguistics in computational field is? Ans. Recognition of speech, automatic parsing of texts, building large collection of texts. 31. Q. How are linguists helpful in the legal domain? Ans. Linguists are called for help in the legal domain to identify speaker from voice recording. 32. Q. The importance of English in the academic setup is apparent from the fact that Ans. English is compulsory at the graduate level. 33. Q. In learning a new language, what is the chief problem after the mastery of sound system? Ans. Learning vocabulary. 34. Q. Limitations of direct method are? Ans. Neglect of the reading and writing skills. It ignores the study of grammar. 35. Q. Why are the direct method and grammar translation method important in spite of their limitations? Ans. Because of primacy of speech and habit formation. 36. Q. Language is primarily a spoken thing and therefore our approach to a foreign language should be? Ans. Its spoken form. 37. Q. Since language arises from situation, the teacher's task is to create a situation from which Ans. Language will arise easily and naturally. 38. Q. Structural method stresses that we should know well how the Ans. Word order and word forms are employed to make sentences. 39. Q. Procedure that may be followed in the structural method is? Ans. Creating situations to teach the structure, individual drill or chorus work and reading from the substitution tables. 40. Q. Chomsky considers grammar to be a Ans. A formal system. 41. Q. Chomsky said that it is through grammar rules that Ans. Grammatical sentences of a language can be generated. 42. Q. The tradition which Chomsky developed is called Ans. Generative grammar. 43. Q. Who is called the father of modern linguistics? Ans. Noam Chomsky. 44. Q. Chomsky played a big role in the decline of Ans. Behaviorism. 45. Q. Chomsky was born in Ans. 1928. 46. Q. Language teaching is sometimes discussed in terms of a few related aspects, namely Ans. Method, approach and technique. 47. Q. Different theories about the nature of language and how languages are learnt are called Ans. Approaches, e.g. communicative approach. 48. Q. A particular trick or strategy used to accomplish an immediate objective is called Ans. Technique, e.g. student is given a grammar rule and she applies the rule by using new words. 49. Q. Grammar translation method, GTM, is also called Ans. The classical method or the natural method. 50. Q. Classical method was named grammar translation method in Ans. 19th century. 51. Q. Chomsky adopted whose approach to the study of language? Ans. The linguist Zelig S. Harris. 52. Q. Functional linguistics has its basis in the works of Ans. The Prague School and J.R. Firth.